Is that you, Skiddy?
gotta, gotta
Get your shoulders together. Get your shoulders together.
get a yeah. But what's going on, YouTube family? Man, I don't want to say YouTube family. Let me redo that because it's way bigger than YouTube. Like I said, like this is a movement. This is a community. So welcome back, family. I would just like to thank you guys for tuning in to the. Actually, I'm gonna introduce you guys to him, but I'm gonna say this to him real quick. You don't know this, but this is the first podcast episode
Okay.
of season one.
Ooh.
The other ones were like no seasons. Like this is season one, like legit, like tackling like planned out subjects all the way through. So
Ooh.
that this is the first one, and I just want to let you know that. So you guys heard that as well. So welcome to season one of Break the Box podcast. It's a movement, and we're here to spread the truth, grow together, and most importantly, heal.
Absolutely.
We have to heal as people, individuals, in order to heal together and really just improve. So thank you so much for tuning in. I didn't mean to make that intro long, but it's season one of
Got
episode
to. I'm
one
glad I wore a suit.
of
I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
special now.
yeah.
I didn't know that. You
but
got me on guard.
yeah. But yeah, man. So man, today we have a very special guest. Um I've known him for some time. Like I always say before, man, I don't just let I mean, I anybody can be on the podcast, but there's levels to it. I feel like, and if like there's just levels to it, and this is one that I was very excited for. So yeah,
Let me get
introduce
straight
yourself,
in.
my man.
My name is Vartavius Curitan. This is my brother right here, man. He's been a great friend for a long time. We've been knowing each other since we was kids. It's been an absolute pleasure to be his friend. Um, it's just been great. I've been very proud of him, what he's been doing. He works very hard to get a positive message out there to y'all. I've been watching from a distance, and I told him, I said, Zane, bro, I got to get on the show with you. I got to do something with you. We got to link up.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of you, brother. I'm just glad to be on the show with you, especially in season one. I'm kicking it off. I feel special. I feel
You
great.
should, bro, and I
So
appreciate you.
it's a great thing to be a part of a great thing, and knowing I'm doing it with my God brother, just a brother in Christ, just knowing I'm doing it with somebody who got the same mindset of being successful and trying to do it the right way. It's an absolute honor.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. That really did mean a lot, man. I'm
Mm,
not I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. That really
I'm
did
glad
mean a
it did,
lot,
bro. It
man.
came from the heart, bro. It came from the
Yeah.
heart.
But but yeah, man. I mean, essentially, you already know the topic a little bit on what we're talking about. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
If you forgot, you forgot. But we're gonna play a little game and give them a chance to guess right there. So I'm gonna give y'all 3 seconds. Y'all can either type it in the comments, tell your friend, record it, tag Break the Box Movement, whatever. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to guess what we are talking about.
Okay,
Go.
I think we're talking about single parenting.
Oh, you really don't know. Oh, this
Okay,
is good. This is good.
okay.
Did I not tell you?
You did
I don't,
not.
I thought I told
You
you.
did not.
Wow, that was a good guess.
I thought it was. It was
That
one of
was
the
a good
topics we
guess.
discussed. I thought it was
Nah, nah. Toxic masculinity.
masculinity. Toxic.
Toxic masculinity.
Actually, you did. You did say
I
it.
told you.
You told me on Instagram. I forgot all about it. You did say
Okay,
it.
cool,
Okay.
cool,
Okay.
cool, cool, cool. I
You
just had to
did.
make sure. Okay, dang. So yeah, man.
Okay.
So basically, you know what? First of all, I think in order to really dive into a topic like toxic masculinity, we need to understand what it is. I have my definition of it. I'm pretty sure I grasp a good concept of it, but I wanna know what do you think it is like? How do you think it is in society? What do you think like what is toxic masculinity?
Well, to me, it's a split different definition of toxic masculinity. It depends on how you look at it. I'm very interested to know how you look at it, but I'm answering my case. Um, to me, I think for somebody to have toxic masculinity is for somebody to just think that their masculinity is like egotistical on a way of that level. Like it has to be something that prideful too much. I feel like they take their masculinity to a level that's not normal in a bad way. They can then it becomes arrogance. Then it becomes, just disobedience on bad levels. Not understanding how to maintain yourself because you're masculine. Not knowing how to, sometimes be soft. Sometimes just not always holding your emotions and learn how to let it go sometimes. Just we think as men, especially blacker men, we think that we don't need to let go of our emotions. We think we got to hold it in, and that becomes a mental blockage for us. And I think that's a part of my definition of toxic masculinity. I'm interested to hear what you think about that.
Okay, yeah, that was actually very very that was great, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm still digesting that a little bit, bro.
Appreciate that, brother.
And I'm interested to hear the second definition that you had as well.
Well, I think that can be tied into just pride. I feel like pride is a bad thing. Period. It's very one of the worst sins to actually have against. Pride is just sad, to be honest with you, because we get so prideful as a person. We realize that we think that we can handle everything on our own until we can't. And especially as men, we let our pride get in the way of situations just because we're men. And we get into bad situations because our pride get in the way of them. And especially as, like I said, masculinity, we think that we can just get out of those problems because we're men and we can just work out of those problems. But we're not sitting back and understanding the things that we can fix, the things that we can work on because our pride is in the way. And that's a big trait of masculinity that's toxic. I think so.
Okay, wow. My perception and like definition of toxic masculinity is and that was deep, bro. Like
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
both of those. But my perception of it is pretty much when you take when a man has the misinterpretation
Mm,
of what it means to be masculine
yeah.
and therefore does a lot of masculine things,
Hmm.
but that's not really operating in masculinity.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that made sense
It
what I
did. It
just
did.
said, but essentially it is sort of tied to that first definition a little bit more in my opinion. Or how mine ties to that out of those two, it ties more so to the first one,
Hmm.
and it's just like you said, like in a way taking things overboard. But I really just am honing in on the misconception because I think toxic, toxic,
You good, bro.
toxic masculinity
Mm,
and men out there, I feel like a lot of them don't even recognize that they're toxic because that's what they were taught that masculinity is. Whether that was from their parents, whether that was from nowadays we have kids watching social media videos, podcasts. Like I'm saying this right now, like if you're watching this podcast, I am grateful for you. But as a genuine podcaster, like I like honestly, I know this is good soil.
yeah,
Like, and I'm not just saying this like for regard like to boost whatever. I know this right here is true and good soil.
it is.
It's coming from good intentions. But if you watch podcasts and listen to them, man, be careful what you're listening to because it definitely plays a part. It's teaching you something, whether it's directly, indirectly. So just be mindful of that, and that's what I think masculinity is getting twisted as well, and maybe confused about
Hmm.
from online to parenting, like you said, like
Absolutely.
being taught wrong. So that's my definition of it, bro.
Okay.
Like my understanding of it.
Absolutely. I can add on to that. Based off what you said, it just dropped in me. I feel like it's a generational thing, toxic masculinity, because people get taught toxic masculinity from people who wasn't taught masculinity, period. So they come up with their own definition of masculinity based off a woman's perspective of a masculinity. They don't have a man in their life to show them a real definition of masculinity. And the men that they get to see based off single parent homes, which we're gonna get into later, but that's just a break off what we're gonna get into. But a single parent home, mom single parent home, they don't get the soil from a father. So when they come up with kids or around kids and they become the influence or the role model, they put things into that kid that isn't masculinity. So when they come into a situation where they need to be masculine, they only show up with their definition of masculinity because that's what they're taught.
Oh, yo, bro, this is actually deep because I agree, and I had this conversation with some people outside of this, bro, when we were just talking like cause we were just talking like I talk about a lot of different stuff like just regular conversations,
Hmm.
and something that came to mind is and now this is about to sound very I don't know how to say this, how it's gonna sound, but take what I say in this moment with a grain of salt to just understand the concept.
You good?
How do you how do you feel like a man? What do you know, how do you feel like a man? Can you feel like a man or can you feel like a woman? And when I was in this conversation about this, I was like, at first I was like, yeah, I know what it feels like to be a man. And then I processed and I was like, how do I know what it feels like to be a man? And I was like, hold up, you can't really necessarily feel what it means to be a man. But what I did say is, I know how it feels to be a man because I know how it feels to be like more so on the feminine aspect, and that's how I know when it's I don't want to say when it's masculine or whatever, but that's just because what you are like I can't necessarily feel like a man because I was born a man.
That's true.
It's in my DNA. It's in my like everything. Like I'm just a man, so I can't feel like something that I am
That's right.
because I'm just being I'm just I'm just
Being you.
I'm just being in
Yeah.
it. Like I'm just being in it.
Hmm.
But whenever I'm not operating in me and I'm not operating in manhood, and then I maybe and what do you mean by operating in manhood? I like let's say like let me get specific because also people can take clips and try to break stuff down.
Yeah, I know.
No, not I don't mean it in that context. What I mean is like and this is I guess you can say I don't want to say it's not a pride thing, but kind of is like I'm not against the woman paying for my meals or anything like that, and that's also something we could talk about with
Yeah,
relation. But
that's
I'm
true.
I'm not I'm not against women paying against my meals or anything like that. But let's say I went on a date and all the roles were reversed. She opened up my door for me. She opened the door for me. She paid for the meals. I would feel like a woman,
That's true.
but and like do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying completely.
I know what it feels like to not be what I am.
Hmm.
So when it comes to your description of the toxic masculinity, when it comes to single parenting, etc., and it just being how they were raised, not even like, and if you're a single parent out there, man, I give kudos to you. Like I know it's not easy, and this is no diss at all to any single parents. Instead, this is like honestly, like I want to give you guys a cheer
Absolutely.
because you're doing what you can to raise your kids the way you know it. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
That's
So
right.
so I just want to give you your credits on that. But breaking down on the like single parenting, let's say a single mom, she is breaking down her perception of what it means to be a man off of what she is not.
That's absolutely right.
So just how I broke down that thing of what it means to be a man. How do I know what it means to be a man? I'm naturally a man. So I'm gonna have a different perception if I'm trying to do something that's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's
Cause,
true.
cause, so that was really wild to me how you said that. Cause I was like,
Absolutely.
dang, that's legit.
Absolutely. Just to kind of spike on that some more, to respond to that. I came from a single parent home most of my life. My mom, my father was together until 2010. So, I mean, that was what 13 years ago. I'm 18 now, so I mean that's a long period of time I've been living with my mom. So I'm an example of what that is. And one thing about it is I understood the perspective of a woman because that's what my mom put in me. She couldn't teach me how to be a man based off what a man needs to do. She taught me how to be a man on base what she needs a man to do. So that's different. So that's what she taught me how to be a man like. She needs a man to be the provider. She needs a man to go out and take care of her needs and her satisfactions. She needs a man to make sure the bills get paid, make sure there's food on the table, and she take care of the things of that nature. But the things that she couldn't teach me was how to do that. and how to do it the way we should do it and effectively without getting mentally unrattled because she don't understand what it's like to be a man. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. The responsibilities of a man is so deep. A woman, no offense, and this is a big part of the generation today because a woman thinks independently is supposed to be like that's how it's supposed to go. God made a man for a woman, and it's things that they have that we don't have, and it's things that we have they don't have, and that's why we're supposed to fill in that slot. You can't succeed. It's very hard for a woman to succeed by herself, and it's very hard for a man to succeed by herself because we're not made to be alone. When God made Eve, he made it because man is not supposed to be alone. It's the whole purpose because it's things that we can't do that she does. But when it comes to just responsibilities and how to teach me how to be responsible, the level of responsibility a woman might have is completely off from the level of responsibility a man has because we have to be that because we're the head of the household. We the head of the snake. When somebody say that family's failing, they looking at the man. They're not looking at the woman. She is the she is the interceptor. The man is the quarterback of the whole situation. He makes sure she has the things she needs to provide for the household. And if he's not there to do that, then she's taking on that burden and she's teaching that kid, the son, that since your father couldn't do that, I'm gonna teach you how to do that for another woman, but I can't teach you how to do it the right way. I'm gonna teach you the way to do it. I want you to do it. The way I wish your father would have done it for me because he didn't. But I don't know how he did it because I'm not a man. That's the way it is. That's basically the terminology way it
Yo,
is.
that that is so true, bro. And it's actually crazy because I was blessed to be in a two-parent household, but to share on my story some, um, and this is no like I love my parents. I'm not anything that I say I'm not dissing them at all. They've done everything they could for me. Like bro, like I would not be who I am today without them.
That's true.
So and that's just it. But I come from not the American two-parent household. One, I come from an interracial household,
Hmm.
and I also come from an interculture household. So when it comes to masculinity, it's like I'm Nigerian. So
Hmm.
when it comes to masculinity, they have a certain identity like grounded with it.
Hmm.
And I grew up in American culture.
That's true.
Like my dad's Nigerian with that like literally head of the household like masculine things, but here I am in American culture, and it's actually crazy because if you're a child out there or anyone listening and you come from these things like whether it's a single parent household or whatever, it's a part of your identity. Don't run from it. Please don't run from it. That is your gift.
Absolutely.
You are meant to touch people with that and change the world with it. So if you're wondering why things are happening to you, like please know like it's happening because it's making you who you are or who you will be, and you're gonna be great.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just thinking on that, it makes me who I am. So because I was raised with, well, one, I have an older brother. He's like the oldest.
Hmm.
I have an older sister. She's the second oldest.
Hmm.
I have another older sister, but she's like younger than she's the
Yes.
third
Yeah.
third,
Hmm.
and then me. And there was like it's pretty much split between the two oldest are like a year apart, and
Hmm.
then me and my younger sister were like 8 years apart, not
Okay.
9 years apart, so around there.
Hmm.
And what I will say is since my brother was so much older than me, he he of course, first of all, he's my brother. It's not his responsibility to be my dad.
Hmm.
So, but I never really seen him too much, especially as like I got older because his life he was getting older. Like
Hmm.
he was a grown man, moving out and things, different things like that. And so pretty much like I was really surrounded my sisters a lot
Hmm.
and my mom. I mean, my dad is home too. Like I was with my dad as well, but like I said, like my dad, he's also older, so like he's at his computer desk a lot, and he is not really like he'll teach you discipline. He'll teach you what you need to know to succeed. But when it comes to like let me just say like masculinity and like things like that, I would say Nigerians will show more of the example than do the teaching.
That's true.
And just an example is in just the way they are,
Hmm.
like just literally just about like the way they are
Hmm.
than like teaching directly. So I never really got taught like one on one until future when I met different mentors. Really, God sent me a mentor, and
Mhm.
I'm grateful for it. And I'll have a separate story on that as well. But
Mhm.
I was never really taught like the true principles of what that means, even though I was in a two-parent household. I mean, I could see it, which is different because there's different levels to it.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I wasn't taught it as in like compared to a single-parent household. No, like I know what it means based off of what I've seen, etc. But when you're in a household that's majority of women, like you said, they teach you things that they like and what how to treat them, etc. So I definitely I sort of forgot where I was going with that, but I definitely understand where you're coming from, bro. And I feel like that's major because identity, backdoor identity. That's what I'm talking about. My fault with
Mhm.
identity, bro. Like, and that's why I'm so glad you said that because that's what honestly that's what I feel like part of my calling is to blend and no not to blend when I or no let me not say that. Let me be careful with what I'm saying. To heal the men and women. There's a division that's going on
Absolutely.
between the two of them,
That's very true.
whether it be from single parenting, etc., toxic stuff, etc., and it's a competition that's rising.
Absolutely.
But I feel like it is my calling to be that bridge gap to show literally exactly what you just said, how men and women were not meant to fight. Men and women were not meant to go missing and have animosity, etc., be toxic. No, that's not what we were meant for. We were meant to collaborate,
Absolutely.
work together.
Absolutely.
There's things gotta clear my throat.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let
Things
it
that,
go.
like you said, a man can do that a woman can't do.
It's true.
So that was something that when you said that, bro, like I was just like, wow. Um, but I've been talking for a minute now,
Go ahead, man. I'm
uh,
enjoying it.
but with that being said, just to sort of further clarify, we discussed what we thought toxic masculinity was,
That's true.
how it can stem from etc.
Mhm.
We can of course and we will go deeper on that as we go on. But now that we discussed what toxic masculinity is, what would you say a man is? Like a true masculine man, and not masculine in the toxic way, but masculine is in operating in manhood.
That's
What
true.
would be that definition for you? And then I'll give the definition that I have.
Well, my first definition of what true masculinity is direct communication from God. That's the first one, because that's the source of everything. It don't come. Nothing else comes after that. If you don't have the first part, like that's like making a pizza without the dough. You can't make a pizza without the dough. That's the first ingredient to everything. If you're not connected to God, listen. If you're not connected to God, you basically out the game. I mean, you are lost, to be honest with you, because you don't understand the first part of being a masculine man. That's the first part. Now, since you got the connection to God, now you have to learn true responsibility. And the first part of responsibility is learning your purpose. Because if you don't learn your purpose, then you basically don't know the responsibility, because you don't know how to keep the responsibility, because you don't have a purpose to keep. So what is your purpose? What are you really called here to do? What is your assignment? What is your job? In my opinion, that comes through trials of life, because every situation, every storm, every fight gives you a new insight on what you're supposed to be doing. It gives you the tools to move forward, because when you get to that success level, you know, okay, I done been through this, so God put me in this season, so I know how to get through this now. I already done went through it, and I was in a situation where I didn't even know. But now since I'm with God and He's teaching me what I'm supposed to do through various ways, I can understand how to get how to succeed in the new successful season. I know how to move forward now. But the main thing, back to the masculinity, the main thing also is just like I said, just to get closer to God. Now, since you're closer to God, learn your purpose. Now, since you learned your purpose and you understand it a little bit better, learn responsibility and also value responsibility. Make sure that's the main purpose of your household. Make sure that you cannot tell a woman how to be responsible if you're not holding down your responsibilities. That's the problem, because a woman is gonna call you out. I know a woman's gonna call you out when you don't do what you're supposed to be doing. So if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and she know what you're supposed to be doing, you got a problem, Because you supposed to be knowing what you supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You supposed to be telling her what you supposed
You
to be
real.
showing her.
You real.
I mean, I absolutely know. Because like I said, I came from a single parent home, so I didn't have the tools to tell her how to be responsible in the house if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I can't make an order, which is the next thing. Once you learn responsibility, learn how to set order. Learn how to be the order of the house. Learn how to make sure things are ran to you, to God, and make sure it's direct contact from that. So when you make decisions from the house, because you make the decision, so you're responsible for that decision. Make sure it aligns with what God wants instead of what you want. Because if you make sure that that's the case, it won't never fail. But if you sit here and say, okay, well, babe, let's have a kid, or she tell you, well, no, we should wait to marriage. No, I think I'm ready for the responsibility now. Okay, well, that's not what God wants. Okay, so let's say you have a kid, and now your finances are not able to make sure you just trying to figure out you had a good job. Now you can't pay for the kid. You don't have time to watch it. You're not built with the necessary things, and you trying to figure out how can I discipline it. Well, if you would have stick to the plan and make sure you did what God would have wanted you to do, you would have never had this problem in the first place. You would already been built with the tools to make sure this responsibility was good. You went from the first part all the way to the bottom part, and you didn't even recognize the first part first, which is the easiest part because it's so easy to get it connected to God. So once you get connected to God, the whole story is already unfolded. And you don't have nothing to worry about as long as you keep a connection. That's the problem. Keep a connection, and every answer you need will be answered. Period. That's the whole key to masculinity. It's to understand, to break the code, which is the code is three letters. God is God. That's the code. Once you get that code, you don't have to worry about being masculine because you got the ultimate masculine. So he gonna teach you what you need to do in particular to be masculine in your own home and your own lifestyle. And once you get that, you have nothing to worry about.
Yo, oh my gosh. If y'all heard that, bro, that's a major key, major gem to everything, yo. Like, I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna put it this way. Um, hold up, my sister's calling me. Let me
Go ahead, go
answer my
ahead. You
sister real
good? Go
quick.
ahead.
But my fault, my sister had called me, and I think that was just a prime example of a piece of masculinity, having your priorities straight.
That's a
We
word,
can't,
brother.
we can't, we can't let, we can't let our own pride, like you're talking about, before get in the way of a simple phone call when someone needs you. That's providing. When you said something earlier too. This is what it means. Like when you talked about providing. First of all, you said before I give my opinion. First of all, let's go straight to the source. You were right. You start off with a gem, and I'm so glad you did because my definition. I was about to look up in the Bible what it means to be a man. What does it say a man got to do? And that's what I was gonna do. And I'm gonna look it up, and then I'm gonna give you one the truth first because the truth is the truth, and then I'm gonna give you my like say on it. Like my say is not gonna like change the truth, and it's not gonna go against it. But
It's
just
your
like my
opinion. Yeah.
experience, my etc. So I'm about to look that up right now. Um, what does this is simple. This is another key, man. If you guys don't know something or want to figure out how to live a kingdom lifestyle or just a better lifestyle in general, even if you're not Christian, like I advise you just to look into the Bible because even if you're not Christian, the Bible has so much truth in it and just key life principles that we really find out is that are being taught to us in the real world through experience, whatever is really just directly in the Bible. Like you reap what you sow, bro. People like this is prime example. Grant Cardone, I know he believes in God and everything, but a lot of people he's really big on the 10x. He says 10x your input, 10x the output. You reap what you sow. You sow 10x, you're gonna reap
Yeah,
10x.
that's
But
basically it.
but
Yeah.
but that was an example. So if you want to live a better lifestyle, man, there's so much truth in the Bible. Just look it up. Even if you're not Christian, like it'll help guide you through life, like for real,
Absolutely.
for real.
Just add on
But
to that. Yeah, the book is that's a textbook on life 101. Just like I said, you might not, like he said, you might not be religious or Christian or whatnot you want to call it. I'm not gonna label you. You do what God you find God your own way. But that book is all about life principles and situations on how to handle everything. It's not nothing in the Bible when it comes to life that you can't look in and just see something that's gonna touch your spirit and give you some type of insight on what you're supposed to be doing. That book is a historical textbook on just purpose, period. Life purposes and life morals, period.
That's major.
It is. It
That's
is.
that's major.
It's a book. It teaches. I mean, that's what a book does. It gives you education. I mean, that's the major education.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
And bro, I finally got it pulled up.
Go ahead.
It says, well, honestly, there's the Bible. Another thing with the Bible, it's not just like one verse says all, unless you're talking about John 3:16.
Yeah, that's
That
about
that's
it.
that,
Yeah,
that's
that's
one verse
about
says
it.
all. But
Or
but
Genesis first 1. That's
but
about it too.
but another reason why people say like a lot of events repeat in the Bible, etc., is because, um, for example, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Those are all disciples and people who've seen Jesus, so they're giving their individual perspective on it of the
Absolutely.
same stuff, but from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
So, in this one right here is talking about from First Timothy, and it says Paul gives 6 virtues that men of God should pursue. So this is what men of God should pursue. Like, I guess adding on to God, it says righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness. One, I'm just gonna say this question just to let it sit and resonate. Is that what society perceives to be a man? That's one. That's what I'm gonna say to let it resonate. And then also to go on what you also said, another key point, you said men should, provide and responsibilities. I'm gonna go on to a verse that I just know, and this one I literally know because I did my own deep research on it. Like literally did my own deep research on it when I was in the Bible and just doing. I do deep research. Sometimes I have random thoughts that be popping up, and I'd be doing different research in the Bible.
As you're supposed to do.
And it popped up, and I don't want to misquote it, but I'm a sort of pretty much like paraphrase it, and then I'm gonna pull up the exact words because nothing's better than like the exact words.
Absolutely.
But it's pretty much like a man who doesn't provide for his household is worse than that of an unbeliever.
That's,
So I'm about to look that up. You have anything to say to that real quick while I'm looking up?
oh yeah, sure. That's absolutely 100% true. I mean, that's God's whole purpose of a man being here is to be the provider and the teacher. God, the big misconception about things in this generation and world, period, is that God is the only way you're supposed to get through God is direct communication. That's what the Bible is for. That's like really what the Bible is for, in terms of communication of stuff that you're supposed to be teaching, you're supposed to be knowing. Once you read the Bible, you can start teaching on things that you don't know because it's all there. That's the whole reason why the book was written. So when you see life quotes like, okay, well, like you just said, even though you paraphrase it, I know you about to read the whole scripture. It's basically saying it is almost the same scenario of being somebody who's seen and witnessed Christ and not believe, but you won't take care of your household. That's how serious God takes that. That's how serious God takes that.
And and I just want to clarify something. I said man. I was wrong when I said man. This does not apply to only men.
Oh yeah, I'll
This
wait for you to get
applies
there.
this applies to everyone.
Absolutely.
And I know it applies to everyone because it literally says so in the truth that I'm about to read. But I said man, I guess because I'm coming from a man's
And that
perspective.
is the topic. That is
Um
the topic.
so but to say the exact truth, and I'm gonna go to King James.
Go ahead. Let's hear
This
it.
this is the original, and then I can go to ESV, but ETC. But King James is just like I don't know. It's like the
It's the Bible.
it's
Yeah,
just
it's
yeah.
basically yeah.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he is denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Or in translation to like regular English, but if anyone does not provide for his relatives and especially for members of his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Um, Key word, anyone. And
Anyone.
I think that mistake happened for a reason when I paraphrased. I said man than anyone. Providing does not only apply to a man.
Absolutely.
Providing applies for a man and a woman.
That's
And I
absolutely
feel
right.
like in order to really discover what that is to understand what the word provide means.
That's true.
And I'm gonna give you my take on it real quick
Go
because I
ahead.
feel like, and then I'm gonna pull up. Actually, I can pull up what provide means right here too,
Go
because
ahead.
I do my own thoughts and own research, bro.
Go ahead.
What I'm looking up provide definition. Provide definition. The definition of provide: make available for use, supply. Number two, make adequate preparation for a possible event. By definition, as a man, you have to make available for use, aka supply for the members of your household. As a woman, you have to make available for use, aka supply for your household. Or two, make adequate preparation for a possible event. Make adequate preparation for a possible event.
It's true.
Now I repeated those two because I think where toxic masculinity comes from as well is from stemming the definitions of providing etc to certain actions, to certain and specified actions like material items or statuses, and that's not what providing is.
That's true.
It's a supply for,
That's true.
especially when it needs. So what providing is for me as a man is, yes, I'm providing, making sure that, and also to make preparation for. When we just looked up the definition of provide, it said to make preparation for an event and supply. Those were the two definitions.
That's true.
That means I have to make preparation for an event and supply for my family, for my wife, for my household. Nothing about that said providing is only about money.
That's true.
Nothing about that said providing is only about looking like some top dog. No,
Absolutely.
I'm making preparation for an event that my household gets taken away, etc., whatever. I'm making preparation for financially that they're okay. Supplying for a need. Okay, my wife, she's going through emotional trauma right now. Am I going to be the man that I perceived of being tough? Oh, we don't talk about emotions. Or am I going to supply for her emotional need in this moment?
Absolutely.
That's what it means.
Absolutely.
And that's definition.
Absolutely.
And as a woman, it can go the same way, but that's a topic and conversation that I want to have with. I mean, we can talk about it from a man's perspective. I think it would definitely be beneficial for any women or man who's listening from a man's perspective, but I also want to get a woman's take on that as well. That's why I'm not like diving too deep into the womanhood, because like I said, I only know what it means
from
to be a man.
Side, that's right.
So I can only speak from that. So yeah, man, that's just one part. And also remind me later if I forget. I want to break down your definition of what it means to be a man from Adam and Eve's perspective, from Genesis.
Okay.
And because the Bible is the key to life. It's a lifestyle, man. Like if you're not Christian or whatever, this is not solely a Christian podcast. This podcast is not. It's legit not a Christian podcast. It's meant for the world. And a lot of people say, "Oh, know your target audience. You got to know this to succeed." Yeah, that's cool. You do, but I'm gonna succeed regardless. God gave me this purpose not to succeed only for a specific target audience. It might be attracted greatly by one at first.
It's true.
But this is meant to reach the world.
Supposed to, and it will.
So I'm not. I don't operate on worldly customs, worldly expectations, ideology. Yeah. I'm in a kingdom. I'm in a kingdom lifestyle.
That's right. That's right.
So I mean, but what's your take on that, man?
I believe it. Like you said, to clear the air, providing isn't just a sex thing in terms of male and female. It's not just the male supposed to be providing in this category and the woman supposed to be receiving. It's not just a woman providing and a male supposed to be receiving. The thing about it is they supposed to receive from each other. That's what supply come from. Because again, like the first few things I said, God intended for a man weaknesses to be filled by a woman, and a woman's weaknesses to be filled by a man. That's why they together. So the things that you can't build in me, the things that I don't have, you have to build that in me. You have to supply me with what God intended for you to supply me with, because that's what providing is. And I am built with things that are going to supply you for things that you don't know, situations you don't know how to handle, but I do. Because God gave me the mind, the thought processes, the things to tell you, the scriptures, the word, to tell you how to get out of that situation, how to get out of that situation successfully. Sometimes we look at, well, okay, just like I said, men are built to not have emotions. So when a woman sees a man emotional, they think it's a weakness. The thing about it is, that's the whole purpose of supplying. I need you to supply me with that emotional support, because I'm opening up something to you that is making me giving you the E factor in that, because I don't have the things in me right now to get me through this season. But I look to God and I'm looking to you, because God gave me you to supply the things that I don't have. And that's your job. Just like if you're going through emotional season or you're going through anything, if you need advice on something, I'm supposed to be here to supply the things I need for you. Just like a friendship. We got a friendship. It's
Yeah,
some things that I don't know. It's some things that you don't know.
exactly.
And we supply each other with knowledge on things that we both don't know. Just like when you said you came from a full house perspective, you came from a both parents perspective. You have a better insight on that. I have a better insight on single parent perspective, so I can speak on that. You can speak on something that I had but I didn't grow up with. So you know what it's like, but we can supply each other with the things that we didn't know. That's the whole definition of supply. I um I definitely agree with that. And like you said, you're supplying for an event that something happens. Just like you said, you have to make sure you're preparated for anything because God sends situations at you to see how preparated you are,
For better and for worse.
for better and for worse. Because He got to see how much you're a believer. He got to see how much you're doing your work. He got to see how much you reading your Bible, how much you praying.
I mean, well, to correct what I said, for better or for worse, either way, it's gonna be for better.
Yes,
But it may feel like in the moment for worse.
that's
So
the point.
I don't want
Yeah,
anyone to take that out of
yeah,
context.
yeah,
I know we
yeah,
knew what we meant, but
yeah.
I want to make sure that everyone's on one page when I say that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, but
The worst
continue.
is, to be honest with you, the worst is better. The worst is better. You will want the worst because that's the stuff that's going to teach you how to
Yeah.
get to the better. That's the purpose.
Bro,
That's the worst is better.
bro, in the word, well, oh my gosh, bro, you are really like, bro, I know why. In case I don't know, this podcast took a lot for this to happen.
Yeah.
I see why it took a lot for this to happen. You said the worst is gonna make you better,
Absolutely.
bro. When I was in like the worst time period of my life, right? And I'm not I'm not putting out no names for nobody, nothing like that. But I was in a very immature, uh, I'll just say friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely.
Just let's say I don't know, partnership, friendship, whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it. I was in one where I was not, honestly, I was not a man.
Hmm.
But after that situation, I learned and figured out what it meant to be a man. Not, and I know that's not, and I'm not saying that's the situation that like oh he had his first real heartbreak and now he's just went macho and now knows what it means to be a man. No, what I mean is during that time period I was depressed. I tried to fill those voids. I was in a toxic relationship because obviously me personally I was toxic. The other person I'm not gonna speak on their behalf or anything like that, because that's just not my place to do so.
Hmm.
But but yeah, so and also I was dealing with chronic illnesses, etc. But that worst, which was the worst time period of my life, is now my testimony, which I can help other people in indirectly, directly, or whatever. But it taught me how to be a man because I got connected with God stronger than ever.
Absolutely.
And after that, He instilled like principles into my life. Even like when a lot of people think connecting with God, and I guess I'm calling this a little man. God can intercede whenever He wants to. If you're out there and you want to connect with God, I'm gonna give you a key principle. Say, hey God, how you doing today? I just want to let you know I'm getting frustrated in work, and I don't really know how to handle it.
Uh-huh.
Shoot, I'm just starting out as I mean, I'm just human, I mean, shoot, I don't even know if you're real for real or not. I'm just talking. For anything, I could be
Uh-huh.
talking to myself. And God's gonna accept that, and He's gonna look at you. He's gonna be like, "Wow, like they're
They're
talking,
turning the table.
they're talking,
Turning the
like they're
table.
talking,"
That's
and
right.
he's gonna start showing up for you in ways that like you just cannot explain. And so yeah, I would just like to tell you like that. A lot of people think that, and this is a separate conversation I'm having, but Christianity is not a cool club, man.
It's
It's like
not.
it's even misinterpreted, but that's a separate conversation.
Absolutely.
But it's literally just simple as having a relationship with God first. Like you don't have to have nothing special, no type of calibers. Shoot, I'm no one. I mean, I'm someone special because I'm a king. I'm a son of God.
That's true.
You're a king. You're a daughter or queen, daughter of God.
Hmm.
You're a king.
Absolutely. You are too.
So you're special. And I tell people that all the time, like all the time. There's only one of you in the world, and there ever will be one of you. No one else, just you,
Hmm.
ever, in the entirety of Earth. So yes, I'm gonna say I'm special, but when I say I'm no one special, I mean I'm no different than you.
True.
My relationship started out with a similar conversation with God like that.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like interceding on that behalf. I don't know if someone needed that, but I just really felt like doing that.
Absolutely. I can attest
But
to that. I can attest to that some if you want me to.
I mean, oh, if you want to,
Yeah. I mean, my struggle was different. because the things that I went through, especially in middle school, high school, I didn't know how to. I didn't know because, like I said, one thing that I was instilled with was the denial of emotion. So I didn't know how to really handle the things that I was going through. And I had a source in God, but I was more worried that I'm growing up. Puberty starting to hit. Things are starting to be different. I'm starting to see things from a different perspective. So I'm looking like this is new to me. So
Yeah.
when I get into middle school, of course, elementary school, we're not really thinking about it that much, but middle school is different. Things are starting to change then. What killed me was I wanted attention bad. Like I wanted attention bad. Like I was literally the class clown. Like I got kicked out of class so much. And what humbled me so much. And teachers are the teachers who care are some of the most important people in your life because they'll tell you about you and it'll run with you forever. It'll run with you forever. And it'll be the simplest things. One teacher told me, Mr. Melton, he told me, I hope he
bro,
listening.
bro,
That's
dude,
my that's like
that
my
that was my favorite, bro.
that's
That's my
yeah.
favorite teacher from middle school,
That's my yeah,
bro. He did so much for me,
yes,
bro.
he
Bro,
did much for
Mr.
me too.
Melton, yo, shout out to
Shout out to Mr.
you,
Melton,
like this.
bro.
I'm so glad you mentioned him
Yes.
because I I didn't even tell him yet, but when I mean, God spoke so many promises over my life, but when I receive it in the physical this year
Uh-huh.
and moving forward for the rest of my life, he's someone I'm gonna go back to bless.
Me too. Me too. And Mr. Melton, he told me I was playing around in his class, just joking around, slap boxing, laughing, kicking up while he was teaching. And he pulled me outside one day. It was the end of the class. He said, Bartavius, I'm just so disappointed in you. The way he said it, it just hurt me. He said, I believe in you.
I'm not trying to lie. That just sounded
It
so
just
bad.
that's how it
Like you just
sounded.
sound so bad. Like, I can't imagine.
I can
I
I
can't
can
imagine just
I can hear his
like that,
voice.
bro.
I can see his polo shirt right now in my eye. I can see it. I can see his polo shirt right now. Look at me dead in my
Bro,
face. He said, Vartavius, listen, I am so disappointed in you because you are so smarter than what you acted like. I said, you get in front of my class, you want to joke around. You you want to joke around. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. But this is what's gonna stop you from that. This is exactly what he said. He might not remember it. He said, listen, what's gonna stop you from that is that the same people you joking around with are not going to be there for you when you need them. This right here, this education, this understanding to understand what's going on right now, that's going to be here for you. And I said, he said, if you really, really, really want to be something in life, learn how to listen instead of talk. I shut up. You can't say nothing to that. What am I supposed to say? I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him like, did you just really prophesy over me? I mean, really, like you just put me in my place? I was just joking around like 12 minutes ago. You just put me in my place like that. I feel offended. I feel offended. I'm like, okay, Mr. Melton, you right. You know, I'm shaking my head like, oh yeah, you right. Once he said that, because most of it was going one ear out the other. I'm gonna continue to do it next tomorrow. When he said that, shut up and listen. I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm not gonna fail in your class no more. You ain't gonna worry about me. I sat right beside his desk for the rest of that year. 7th grade, I sat right beside his desk. I did not fail another. I did not fail nothing else after that. I passed with flying colors just because he said, because it hurt me so bad. And this is a teacher. He don't even know me
bro, I'm
personally.
so sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
I'm glad you laughing. I'm glad you laughing. You crying
This is
too.
real.
You crying too. I'm glad you laughing.
Bro, because this is real, like, because you speaking real truth. But I can, but I'm laughing because I can imagine it,
I can see
because
it.
I'm a creative, like, as
Yes.
well. Like, I know you're creative too, bro.
Yes.
So it's like as you're explaining it, like I'm imagining, like, because I saw you in middle school,
Uh huh.
so I'm imagining you in the hallway,
I had
like
a
the face
yeah.
you
I had a
make,
box top.
and then, bro, like, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
can just imagine you like walk back in out of nowhere, because you're the type of person.
Yes.
There's the thing. There's one thing when you receive information, and it's different when you receive it and apply it.
Yes.
That's knowledge. And I
Yes.
know you're a knowledgeable person. So when you hear the truth and receive like real information,
Yes.
you think
Yeah.
you change like
Yes.
that.
Because it hurt
I
me.
can just imagine. So I can just imagine you out there slap by some people, whatever. Leave, come back in. Next thing you know, you grab your stuff and sit right next to his desk like this. Like
Absolutely.
I
That's
can just
what
imagine like that.
it's just based off what he
That's why I'm
said.
laughing, y'all. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
laughing
no.
to joke
I'm
at
glad you left.
situation.
I get it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he said. And the thing about it is, Mr. Melton to me. I'm just not just trying to say it. Mr. Melton just impacted me so much in that period of time, because the conversations he'll have with you as an individual, would just make you feel like you're just, especially when you're doing something wrong, like you're doing something that you know you're doing wrong, but you just wait for somebody to tell you. He's that person. He's gonna tell you, and he's not that type of person who's gonna hide his way of saying it. He gonna say it the way it needs to be said, and the way he said it, it's been numerous of times he said it. I remember the first time I met him, he was serving donuts. You know, he used to bring snacks and all that. He had donuts, and I had a lot of my friends in there, and I needed to make that first day impression that I'm gonna be the one that's gonna cut up in your class. For some reason, I don't know why. He said, "Listen," he said, "I'm gonna break you." He said, "I'm gonna break you." He said, "You're gonna be the one who's gonna be smart in here. I already know it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever. You Mr. Melton. I don't know you. I don't care." That dude, I literally text him on Facebook. I literally thank him. I said, "Mr. Melton, I didn't even know how important you are to me until I got into the real world and realized how much shutting up and not talking and understanding and how to process information and how to apply it to what you're supposed to do works." I don't even know where he got it from. But just him simply saying, "Listen, Vartavius, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You disappointed me because I see your potential. But if you stop talking so much and worry about the things you need to do, it'll actually affect your progression and make you go to the next level. So you don't have to worry about this class. This is just not the class. It benefits you beyond anything. It takes you to a next level personally." And once I applied that just to his class and the rest of my classes and to school period, never look back. In life period, never look back.
So, man, yeah. That first of all, Mr. Mel was very impactful. Shout out to Mr. Mel,
Absolutely.
100%.
Shout out Mr. Melton.
But I'm gonna apply this in the way I know someone need to hear that. I
Yes.
know someone need to hear that.
Yes.
And you're saying that from a teaching perspective after understanding what it means to be a man. But in that moment, how you applied that knowledge and listened, I think and hear me out on this, I think he subconsciously taught you the first steps of manhood.
Absolutely.
And I say subconsciously, not directly. Directly he taught you, of course, a principle of knowledge to apply. Listen, that is a part. Listen more than he's talk etc. That's real spill. Like
Absolutely.
that's real spill. But what I'm saying is, at that moment, you were his household. He's a teacher. What is a teacher's job? They're responsible for that classroom.
That's right.
He provided for his household, whether they like to hear it or not.
That's a word, Zane. That's a word, Zane.
You, as a man, you have to tell the truth. And he didn't do it in a disrespectful way. Some people tell the truth in disrespectful ways.
Absolutely.
There's different ways to communicate.
Absolutely.
But as a man, it's your job to present the truth to your household.
It's true.
Whether they're gonna like it or not. But you do it in a manly way. And let me go back to scripture
Go ahead.
on what it says a man should be.
Say it again.
Let me go back to what it says a man should be.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do it right now. A man should pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness.
Absolutely.
So as a man and you're providing for your household, and that provision might be telling the truth when they don't want to hear it.
Absolutely.
What does the Bible say? Be gentle.
Absolutely.
Have love.
That's a word. Listen to him. Listen to him.
This is it.
Listen to him.
This is it.
Y'all need to listen to him. He's preaching. Shoot.
I'm not even trying to preach for real.
It's just a word,
it's
bro.
the truth.
Yeah, it's just a word. I'm tuned in.
So it's like it. And I don't even know what to go with that, bro. But man, I have something to stem. If you have anything to say, that chime in. But I have something to stem from something else you said.
Okay. You want me to chime into that, or you want me?
It's whatever you want to do.
I'll say I'll tune in. I'll give like a little insight on that, and then I'll let you, because I'm interested to hear what you're gonna say.
Okay.
I really think so. That's why it hit me harder. I think he's seen, because this is the thing. This is the thing. From his perspective, just from his perspective, just on this subject, I know what people don't realize is teachers talk together. They say things together. So when you go to a different class, they already know how you are. They was prepared for it because the other teacher told you. The thing about him that was just so different. The thing about him is so different. He'll tell you without telling you what they're saying about you. So you don't have to worry about them saying it anymore. So when you come in his class, one situation, I'm just making sure, one situation taught me a lot about him as a particular, because one time we was in class and they do the little the inspections and the principals and stuff like that. The administrators will be in there with us and they'll watch over the class to see how everything works. And one time it was a situation where we was cutting up. It wasn't me that day because I was like I said, I was already humbled by what he said, so I wasn't doing nothing. But they was cutting up in the back. They, the kids sitting in the back. You already know. So they threw him under the bus for it though. They'll make it. They literally went to the administrator and say he don't know how to correct the class. Like they was literally trying to get him fired. Because, and the reason why they tried to get him fired, because I didn't bring this up, is because Mr. Melton told them, like, listen, y'all sit into my class every day. I'm trying to teach you how to be better humans, not just social studies. I'm trying to teach you how to be better people so you could take this stuff and put it into something. And you want to sit here and interrupt me and stop the people who actually want to listen to listen. He's really said, he was like, I don't understand where you're coming from on that. And the students looked at it like it was disrespectful. So they looked at it and they know that, okay, well, a student gonna go to a principal and say, well, he's disrespecting me. And they really went, and it was really a problem. Mr. Melton came back in the class. He was like, y'all threw me under the bus. And I went to him. I went to him after class. I said, Mr. Melton, man, I really apologize for that. I'm not even a part of it. I said, I really apologize for that because that's just wrong. Sorry, Partey. He's like, it's all good. He said, because the people who gonna really need that information, they gonna need it. They gonna need it in the future. And that's the people who are not gonna be with it. And he said, he tried his best. He said, but there's nothing he can do for people who don't want it to be done or not willing to actually listen to what he said. And I said, okay, Mr. Melton, you're right. I said, but he said, one thing about you is, he said, you're like a son to me, but I can count on you to actually listen. I said, sometimes you might not do it, and you might not show that you're listening, but I know that if I can just tap into something in you, you'll listen. I said, you know what, Mr. Melton, you're my favorite teacher all the time, and I said nothing else about it. He's
Yo,
been my favorite teacher ever since.
bro. First of all, I guess this is like teaching people how to succeed as a man in the household because I have something that stems from that.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
And then I'm gonna go back to the other thing that I
Go
want to
ahead,
stem from.
go ahead.
Bro, you demonstrated what it meant to be a man after he already spoke. When you apologized on their behalf, let's go back to let's go back to the first analogy I said about this whole situation. You were in his household.
It's true.
You were in his household.
It's true.
So so at first he gave you the truth whether you liked it or not, but in a gentle way.
Yes, he did.
At the end of the day, your household is still your household. It said any man, or not any man. There we go. That's the correction. It says any one.
It's true.
Who does not provide for the household, right?
It's true.
You provided for your household. You took accountability for your household.
Come on, man.
As a man, you have to provide for your household.
That's true.
Take accountability for your household.
That's true.
And speak when you need to speak.
Absolutely right. Come on, man.
Bro, you were teaching, bro. You were teaching it, bro. That was the story.
I mean, that's the
that
truth.
was the story.
That's
that
the
was
truth.
what it was, bro. So,
That's the
so
truth.
yeah, but that was just wild. So I guess that's just a little sub little conversation on what does it mean to be a true man in the household.
That's true.
And just for reference, a lot of people don't know this because I didn't know this, but I film weddings occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Some that I just do because I'm a creative.
Yeah.
Do a lot of different stuff, and that's just me learning more on the cameras and figuring more about it. But
Absolutely.
when I was at a wedding, a Christian wedding in particular,
Mm-hmm.
and what does Christianity got to do with this? It has to do with this right here because they were talking about pretty much they brought up different scriptures, etc. on what it means to be a husband.
Mm-hmm.
This is outside of Christianity right now. If you look up the definition of what it means to be a husband and break down the Greek roots, it's literally a man who takes care of his garden. I'm gonna break down the roots, bro. I'm gonna break down the roots.
I'm in class. I want to hear
It's huz and then bondi.
Mm-hmm.
They have their different Greek roots. Let me look it up. Husband, Greek roots. This is another thing. If you don't know information, I know I already said this, man, but legit, just search it up. We have so much. There should be nothing. You have no limits.
No limits.
All you need is a drive, a passion. Just
That's the
just
problem.
search. Just have that,
the
and I promise
problem.
you'll succeed. But let me go down. Let me go down to the Greek roots. Okay, here we go. And look, tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm lying.
You ain't lying.
Old Norse origin. This is the original origin, right? I'm gonna show you guys too. Matter of fact, I'll pop it up on the screen. I'll screenshot this. Original origin of husband. Huz. What does that say underneath it? What's the meaning of that underneath it? Huz.
Master of the house.
No,
Wait,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no,
Once
no,
more.
not the definition, not the definition. The Greek origins. I mean, we can go up to what it means. Hus. What's underneath
House.
house? House. All right, that's house.
Yeah.
I'm doing it one more time. To break down husband, what does hus mean?
House.
Now, what does the Greek root word bondi mean?
Operator. Let me see. And the tiller of the soil.
Now I'll repeat this again.
Read it.
For husband, what does hus mean?
It means house.
What does bondi mean?
Operator and the tiller of the soil.
For the word husband, when you break down the Greek root words, house, occupier, and tiller of the soil.
Wrong word.
As a husband, your house is your garden. You have to provide for and occupy. It's your garden.
I'm about to walk off. I'm about to walk
If
off,
areas
man.
need some water, water it.
That's great, bro.
But you can't overwater it as well.
That's great, bro.
And then how can you? What's overwatering? How is overwatering? Well, maybe overwatering might be, I gotta show my manhood too much. Maybe overwatering might mean, oh man, my wife's gonna leave me if I don't have all this money, so I gotta get all this bread because I feel like finances are the way that's keeping our marriage together. And yes, marriages do require some type of finances.
It's true.
That's the truth. But it's not all about finances.
That's true.
Especially when you go into that marriage with a legit agreement.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, but man, that was just I had to pull that out.
That was a word, bro. I can tell that's a research authentic word what you just said right there.
Like and I'll put it up on the screen. Like, I'm not capping. This is truth. People, if we go back, and I think a lot of times in society, like or just not society. Let me just go back in my life. A lot of times when I'm just thinking about stuff and see stuff all around it and hear titles and names, I don't actually process that these things actually have meaning.
That's true.
Yes, I know what it means, but do I actually know what it means?
Absolutely.
And when you actually know what it means, it brings a whole different level of perspective.
That's true, and that's very true. Now that you know what it means, you got to understand how to do what it means. That's the main thing. So now you know what it means. Now you know that you're supposed to be the occupator. You're supposed to fertilize that soil. You're supposed to do the things that you're supposed to do to keep that garden, because if you don't, that garden's going to die and you're not going to have the fruit for it. Period. Then the crazy part about it is you blame God for losing everything. But he gave you the fertilizer for that soil. You didn't fertilize it correctly. What he gave you, you didn't fertilize it. And when the garden burned down, you looked at him and said, what did you do? I'm like, okay, so let's just get to the point. Just like what we said in the Bible, every man is supposed to be accountable. So that's not the thing about the problem is we're in denial with our own accountability. We don't want to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, I'm the reason why my life is in that situation. Because I want to blame this person because he controls everything. That's absolutely right. But what you don't see is he gives you the things to use to make your situation better, aka the fertilizer. So when you go into a household situation and your wife is not being respectful, she don't respect your authority of the house. I'm gonna use that.
I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
You said earlier in that same marriage conversation, they said your wife, whenever you enter the household, is a mirror reflection of you.
Absolutely.
And that goes to what you said with your story earlier, but I want to finish hearing what you're saying, but I had to insert one clip.
Go ahead.
That's all I said.
That's
it. But that's you talk.
And that's the truth. Because what you don't understand is, I'm gonna imply on that, then I'm gonna go into finish what I'm saying. What you don't understand is, if you're not living in faith and you're not doing what you're supposed to do through God, your wife isn't.
Why?
How can you expect?
Why? I have a question. Why?
The truth is because, like I said, God intended for man to be the head of the household, just how it is. So when you go and say, okay, well, babe, we need to learn about God. We need to do this. We need to do that. How can you tell her something? Where's your Bible? How are you reading? I can't look at my wife and say, hey, babe, hey, you're not reading the Bible. You're on social media, but you looking at sports. You playing the game all day. How can I? You can't justify your actions and then judge somebody on that. That's lukewarm. That's blasphemy. I can't sit here and say, okay, well, hey, love, I'm a Christian because I dressed up and go to church every day and I tithe. But my soul, I cuss you out. I look you in the face and I cuss you out. But I sit here and blame somebody for not dressing good in church and not reading the Bible. But I'm the same person who's gonna cuss you out when I don't see you, and I'm hiding things that from you don't even know. But I want to judge you how you're supposed to be doing. That's one thing about it. So when you don't fertilize your soil right, you can't be mad at the results. You can't be mad when your crop's not coming out right because you didn't fertilize it right. You didn't water it. You didn't pay attention. You let it overdo itself because you think, okay, well, I'm gonna just, and that's another point of that. Since you fertilize it, you don't understand it's maintenance. Now you have to take care of it. Now you have to be the watcher of that. You have to make sure that you are watching the things that you fertilizing. When you fertilize your kids with social media, when you fertilize your kids with video games, you have to be the parental view of that. Because if you let it get out of control, how can you be mad when she go to jail? How can you be mad when she has a baby? How can you be mad when she's bisexual? How can you be mad? How can you be mad? Okay, well, that's not how you were raised. How do you know? Because okay, well
Oh my gosh! Continue. Oh
how do
my
you
god! I
know?
got it. Oh my god!
How do
Yo!
you know?
Oh
Because
no
you
no no!
wouldn't.
Run! Go go!
How do you know? Because this raised me. The TV raised me, and I only seen what I seen on TV because you wasn't there to watch it. But you fertilized me though, because we watched it together, and you didn't tell me the wrong and right in that. You clapping along with it, so I'm thinking that's okay.
And now you're fertilizing me to be even. And how you said it's generational. Now you're fertilizing me on parenting.
On
What
parenting,
parenting looks like. Parenting looks
absolutely.
like I'll throw you a phone and let you just
Do what you want
do
to
what you
just to
want to
get out,
do,
just to stop getting on my nerves.
and then it repeats.
That's the problem, and that's why we don't come up with production. That's why we keep getting stuck. The problem is, I've seen it in my own eyes. The problem is parents who get spoiled when they was kids. They don't understand the lack, but they have the lack of ambition to want to do something on their own. Sometimes, especially in single parent homes. My situation in terms of what I've seen in life, I've seen kids who had potential but didn't have the dedication because they weren't fertilized with the dedication because their parents weren't fertilized with the dedication and their other parents weren't fertilized with the dedication. Again, generational. So now I look in the mirror and I say, Vartavius, what am I missing to get me to the next level? What did I miss in my childhood? What can I go back and fix? That's connecting back to the number one thing. I go to the source of the source of when my family line started. When God gave my family the fertilization went back in generation ago, and they didn't properly use that the fertilization to get my family to where it needed to be, I go back and say, God, where did we go wrong? Let me be the one to take the fertilizer and fertilize my kids the way you wanted to be fertilized so we can end it. No more pornography, no more social media, no more early pregnancy, no more dropping out of school, no more crime. Let me sit there and say, okay, well, my family line has just been terrible with this. And it started with you. But the thing about it is it flew off a cliff with somebody. And now somebody is getting it like me. And I don't want to continue to get it because I see where it's going. Let me fix it.
You're a decision away from being a generational curse breaker. You're
Absolutely.
a decision away from changing your life.
Absolutely.
You. I think generational curses are real,
Absolutely.
but if you continue to live with it, that's your decision.
That's your decision. You can't blame
You can't,
nobody else.
and I'm not trying to guilt trip anybody. No, because I know it's hard. Generational curses, I know it's hard. They do exist,
Absolutely.
but God has given not you alone. I do not have the strength, but God strengthens you. I can do
Absolutely.
all things through Christ
That's right.
who strengthens me.
That's right.
My sister tells me about that verse all the time. A lot of people misconstruct it, and this is just that. I'm not trying to go too deep on it unless you wanted to, but a lot of people say, I can do all things. You're missing out
On
through
through
Christ
Christ. That's true.
who strengthens me.
That's right.
So God gives you, like, literally go to the source. Go to the source.
Absolutely.
When you were talking about go to the source of being a man, I did say I was gonna break down Adam and Eve real quick, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna do a little quick synopsis. I don't know. I mean, I know you said you're good with time, but
Go ahead.
if
I'm
we want to
good.
continue this, we can.
Let's do it.
But it's um, but Adam and Eve, to break that down. Um, First off, do you what's your take on Adam and Eve of
Oh,
the process of everything? Matter of fact, let's not even look at it. Let's go to the Bible.
okay. I'll
Let's go
let
to
you
the.
read it. I'll
You
let
wanna
you read.
talk?
Go ahead. No. Okay. I'll talk. I'll talk on it. Um.
I mean, but I'm gonna read it. But if you
Yeah.
want to talk or anything about anything we talked about, recap, whatever,
Yeah.
just while I'm looking it up.
Well, yeah. It's just simple. Go to the Bible. Go to the source and get the things that you need. Some of the things that you miss are right in front of your eyes, but you too busy on your phone to look at it. Thing about it is, there's Bible apps on your phone. Look at it on your phone. Read the Bible. I mean, stop making excuses to why you can't do what you're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, when Jesus died on the cross, there was no excuse made. He could have said, "Listen, I can just come down and let y'all do what y'all want to do, and y'all burn in hell where y'all die."
All right, I'm about to break this down now. All right. Oh, that was.
No, no, you straight.
Dang, that was.
I was just,
What did I just enter in on, bro? Just said burn the hell and
I'm,
die.
I'm just saying,
Whoa.
like I was
That's
saying,
true. That's true.
yeah,
That's
I'm
true,
saying,
though.
yeah,
That's true.
that's
That's
what I'm
true.
saying. There's no excuses to be made to why you can't do your part of what God did the tough part. People don't really understand how bad it was to die like Jesus died. Not even trying to get on the Christian thing. I'm just saying, for people who are Christians, this is your part. Y'all don't understand how hard it was for Jesus to suffer through that. You would not be able to do,
Bro.
especially for somebody else. You're not
Oh,
gonna do that for nobody
bro.
else.
I thought about this other day, bro. Like, bro, I'm getting passionate about this. Like, legit. I thought about this other day, bro. I was like, I get upset when people mess something up or and mistakes are normal. We have to forgive. But I catch myself like
Mhm.
I do a lot of internal work. I catch myself like, why am I feeling a little bit off today or whatever?
Mhm.
Oh, because I did this for someone, but they didn't. But
Do it for
they
me.
didn't do it for me, or they messed up. It's like, dang it! Like, am I feeling off? Then I do the internal work, and it takes time to do that internal work to really process how to move forward on that. But I'm
Absolutely.
over here like Jesus over here gave people sight, raised bro. He raised people from the dead, did so many miracles,
Absolutely.
and then died and and died for nothing.
Nothing.
So
Nothing.
you're telling me I died because I made somebody see when they couldn't see?
Absolutely.
I died because someone who wasn't really tapped into my power, their daughter got sick and now died. And while I'm on the way there, I heal a lady who's having a blood issue.
Absolutely.
And then after I heal her and I take my time with that and I walk to go raise the person from someone who already didn't truly believe in my power and I do it, now I'm dying
Absolutely.
because people think, oh my gosh. And that was a deep story because that was a story that came to my mind when I'm thinking about that triggered that thought of mine. Like,
Absolutely.
dang, like, I, oh my gosh.
That's
But
an ultimate price, bro.
I'm gonna go down to the story of Adam and Eve though.
Go ahead.
Um, this is the account of the heavens and earth when they were created, when the Lord God made the earth and heavens. Now no shrub. Well, actually, well, actually, I'll go to verse 7 to where it goes down to after like he made the earth because
Okay.
God made the earth.
That's true.
Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east. First of all, I'm gonna continue in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. You have to be a husband before you have a wife. What did we break down husband was? Husband was bondi. That was house, occupier of the soil. You before Adam had Eve, he had to take care of the garden.
That's true.
That's the, oh my gosh.
That's the main thing.
Then the Lord God made all kinds of trees to grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye, good for food. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. There was nothing that separated it, or Eden from there. It was separated into four headwaters. The name of the first one was Pishon. I don't want to skip. He's making all the waters. He's making the rivers and naming them. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go down to where he goes back down to the man part.
Yeah.
The Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to work and take care of it. The Lord commanded the man, "You are free to eat from any of the tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When you eat from it, you will certainly die. This is literally going to break down accountability, everything we taught about from a
Absolutely.
truth perspective.
Absolutely.
Because that's the rule.
I'm looking
You eat
forward
from
to
it,
breaking it down.
you certainly die.
Mhm.
The Lord God said it's not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him.
Absolutely.
Helper.
Mhm.
She's your helper, but you still have to help her.
Absolutely. Woo-hoo! That's tough.
She is your helper,
That's
but
tough.
you still have to help her.
That's tough.
You're a leader, but you still have to lead her.
That's right. That's tough. I like how you did that.
That's. I'm sorry.
I like how you did
That
that.
was anyways because I feel like as men, a lot of times we, especially with toxic masculinity, we think a woman's just supposed to be sent in our lives to pretty much sort of be a slave to us.
That's true.
And this was a quote I wanted to say for the next podcast episode when we talk about it.
Mhm.
But this is just a thing, man. I know a lot of guys try to use force and etc. like just based off the way they were raised, what masculinity is, almost like
Mhm.
manipulation in a way
Mhm.
to get women to submit to them.
Mhm.
But if you have to force a lady to submit to you, it is not submission; it is slavery.
That's right. Bondage.
And that was something I wanted to leave for the next podcast,
That's
but I had
true.
to put it in because that helper part just sort of just
Yes.
sparked that. Like
Yes.
you still have to help her.
Absolutely.
She's your helper, but you're still meant to help her. Um, then it says, now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock and the birds. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. Follow step processes. First, he had to have a garden to
That's
take
true.
care of.
Mhm.
He had to prove that he could take care of the garden, be a husband,
Mhm.
handle it right.
Mhm.
Then God looked and said, "I will make a helper." He didn't
Mhm.
send the helper. Based off of scripture and the positioning, not trying to twist it. If I'm twisting it anyways, please
Mhm.
correct me.
Go ahead.
It God made Eve after He gave Adam his purpose.
That's spot on. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
He He literally told Adam, "Name all the living creatures of the sky, etc." And then said,
I got something crazy.
"This intermission, guys. There's
Hold on.
there's
Jesus Christ. You all up on me.
yeah,
Jeez.
that bug. I've actually seen it before. Not here, my fault. The bug that's flying you, I've seen it before, bro. Those things are from Florida.
They
They're
look like it. They
they
ugly. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I look them in the face like, I don't want that on me. Jesus, they ugly.
that was a huge bug.
Yeah, it
But they're
was.
from Florida, and I forgot what they're called, but they're making some sort of return, like in a massive way in Florida, and somehow some of them are making this way to South Carolina.
Hey, well, they need to go back where they came from because that was ugly. I don't want to see that no more.
Yeah, but he gave Adam this purpose, like or sort of told him, gave him commandments on what to do. Said, name each living creature. Then when Adam was doing it literally says, but for Adam no suitable helper was found. So after that, he had no helper was found. God told him that's another thing. God will tell you the word before He performs.
Absolutely.
That's a separate message. But um, He gave him the word. Then, but for Adam no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, He took one of the man's ribs, then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib He had taken out of the man. He had brought her to the man. The man said, "This is my bone of bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she
Absolutely.
was taken out of man."
Absolutely. The thing about that's so tricky, and the thing about that's so ironic, is people get, male included, people get into a relationship looking for something, looking for something that they don't have, but they don't realize that a relationship ain't gonna show you your purpose. A relationship is a reward for you knowing your purpose, and that's the purpose of a helper. That's why God said He sent Adam a helper. Just like you said, You paraphrased it by saying Adam was rewarded a helper because he knew his purpose. So, how can a woman be effective to you as a man if you don't know your purpose? That's a big question, because men and women get in relationships looking for something they don't have. But at the same time, when they don't have it, they blame the other person for them not giving it to them. But they're looking in the wrong places, because the analogy is God gives you purpose, and once you find out that purpose, it's your job to fulfill it. Now, even though God gave Adam the helper, just like you said, He's there to help her. So that means it can go either way. That means as a woman, you have a purpose too, and your purpose might not be directly helping the man with his purpose, but finding your purpose as well. And once your purpose is found, being in a relationship with somebody else is making sure both purposes are helped. That's why God sent Adam a helper. Because once he said, Adam, you have this responsibility. I'm giving you, which I'm gonna break this down too. When God gave Adam the Garden of Eden, he gave Adam the garden. And the crazy thing about it is, what you didn't really cover, God made Adam a husband before he had a wife. Because you just broke down earlier the definition of a husband, which is a house that has to be occupied by the soil, by the fertilizer. He gave Adam something to do, which was to cover God's belongings. That was his job. Like you said, that was his responsibility. The thing about responsibility is, it's tricky how you handle it if you don't know how to handle it. The thing about it is, God realized Adam couldn't do it alone, so he gave somebody some help, which was his wife. That's what made him a husband. So when he turns around and says, "Okay, I gave you a helper," I want you to realize what I'm saying here. Adam Adam didn't realize in that situation, even though he didn't realize in that situation the analysis that God was trying to show him. That goes along with task. That I'm and correct me if I'm wrong. That goes along with perfect toxic masculinity. Maybe in my eyes, I'm just announcing. Maybe Adam actually thought, just saying, maybe he actually thought that he can do this alone. And God said, "You need a helper. That's why I'm gonna take something from you. I'm gonna take something for you." And this is another analogy, because Adam got his rib taken from Eve when God made Eve. Am I correct?
Yes.
So when he took the rib from Eve, it's a void in Adam's rib cage now, and Eve is the only way to make him connected fully now, because now Adam is not one being anymore, because it's a part of him missing that's in another human being that he doesn't have anymore. So now they have to connect to be one. Because of two people not connected in a relationship or a marriage, they're counted as one, because they're each other's. It's a part of the man that's missing in the woman. So they don't come together. That it's not a complete being
And you can't operate in your
as
purpose,
a purpose,
in your full purpose,
full
as in
purpose,
you can't operate in your full purpose as an incomplete
as
being.
a 50%. There's no such thing as a 50% when it comes to completing purpose. That's why you need help. That's why independence isn't the answer sometimes, because one thing we do as men is we let pride get away of purpose, because we think we can do it all on ourselves. That's the thing, because that's how we was taught, and that's how the just like we talk about masculinity, going right back in this conversation. That's how funny how this whole thing circles. When you go into a season in your life or a purpose, you need help. It's gonna be battles in along the way that you need help with. You're gonna need somebody there to help you, because there's no person in this world that can handle a situation alone. Do you think people like Steve Jobs, people like let's see, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, players like people like that, do you think they got to where they got to alone?
They didn't, bro.
And when you give somebody the help, that they deserve, when they get, well, not that they deserve, that they think they deserve, some people take the credit for that. And the thing about it is, it's funny how the people who take credit for the things that they don't deserve get karma. That's the funny part. Because God never intended, in my opinion, God never intended you to get an ego for doing something alone. That's the thing. God never intended for you to have a massive ego to think that you are righteous because you did something alone. That's why all grace is and praises belong to God, because he gave you that battle to win, just to show you that he gave you the strength, and I can do all things through Christ. Now he gave you the strength. So who are you supposed to be thinking? Not you, because you didn't do anything. Because if you would have done something, you would have won the battle without him needing without you needing his assistance. But now since you got his assistance, you think, okay, well, I got God's assistance. I don't need nothing else. I don't need nothing else. But the thing about God is, God can throw you a battle just for you to unlock that code, to see that yes, I do need God. Yes, I do need this. Yes, I do need this person in my life. Even though this person might not be in the best conversation, the best part. It's something about that person that's meant for me to have. I need that person for that season. Because God is against pride. That's one of the biggest.
That's
God,
seven
yeah.
deadly sins.
That is absolutely terrible. And pride and ego are basically the same thing, because your ego gets influenced by your pride.
They're
They're
siblings, they're
intertwined. It's just
cousins,
two
they're
different
yeah.
words. It's a synonym. It's the two different words, but at the same time, I think in the story of analogy, Adam failed to soil his garden because he let a piece of his garden get influenced, and he didn't soil it what God said, because God gave him the command not to eat from this tree. The funny thing is, he never told Eve that.
He
He never
didn't
told Eve that.
he, he
He never
didn't
told Eve that.
he
And
didn't
that's the tell me if I'm lying. He never told Eve that. And that's the problem. Because God gave us a responsibility, but we didn't follow it. Because Adam's job was to protect her from doing something that would ruin his responsibility to God. And God said, I'm not even gonna tell her what your responsibility is, because you know. And guess what? I put you in charge of this. So it's your job to stop her. And what did he do? He had the decision to say, I'm not gonna do that. And God said, don't do that. What did he do? He partaked. And that's why we punished. Because he did not follow responsibility. He did not follow what God said. He did not help her. God sent her helper for him to realize he was supposed to help her as well. You get what I'm saying? You get the analogy, right? I was making sure
I get
I
it.
was making sure.
I'm here.
Because I'm
I'm
trying to,
digesting,
yeah,
bro. I'm soaking. I'm
I'm trying to break it down. 'Cause I just find that I'm not trying to be I'm not a Bible, scholar, but I'm just trying to find it funny how ironic it is that God did not tell Eve none of the promises that he told Adam, because it was Adam's duty to do what God said. That's why he made Adam the first man. God intended for a woman to be Eve in that case, to be the helper to God, to his purpose. But it was Adam's job to make sure his garden was protected by his soil, because God gave him his soil, which was the promise that if you don't eat this tree, you won't die, and you will have favor in this garden, and everything that you name will be it. And I'm going to give you everything in your essence. But once you ruin that, once you make that decision, you have sinned against me, and now everybody else has to deal with that, because the soil wasn't planted right. Just saying.
I don't know what to say after that, man.
Just saying, brother.
I
Just
was
saying.
gonna branch off and just be like, well, that means that improper leadership as a man has greater impact than just the direct people,
It's true.
because now we're suffering.
It's true. And the thing about it is, it's
But
the same story though. We just talking about it. It's the same story though.
because
That's ironic.
we're
Yeah,
yeah.
that's ironic. That's the point I'm about to bring up. It's the same story, because we wonder why our household is failing because God gave us the assignment, and we are the carriers of the soil. And just like Adam, we're failing to maintenance the garden, period.
We're failing to be fruitful.
And guess what? We're getting punished for it. And it's already death. That's already guaranteed. But you're getting punished by it, by bad choices, bad decisions, bad situations. Now you're getting punished by the people that you love getting hurt. People you love making bad decisions. What that calls generational curses. Because now your essence has been filled. Just like, and the crazy thing about it is that generational curse started with Adam. Come on,
Oh
bro.
my gosh.
Come on, bro.
The,
Come on, bro.
the,
Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. That's where the start of the generational curse that. And the thing about it is
and we can look at his mistake and choose to
what
take
we
care
can
of.
do.
Well, I mean, we still feel the effects. Like we're still like,
But it's an
but
option.
it's an option.
That's where the second Adam came in. Jesus. He gave us an option. Because before then, it was no option. Adam, the first Adam, God gave him the option. He chose against the option. So now, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. He chose against the option. So now that he chose against the option, he's in a situation where now the whole mankind, interesting, mankind is now suffering from that whole choice. And the thing about it is, it's not even a curse. It's not even. I'm not gonna say it's not a curse. It's not even a punishment. It's a curse. That's why it's called a generational curse, because we keep making the same decision that Adam made that ruined the ruined our possibilities of sin being included in our life. We're in, all of us in our own way. We always say we not in no generation. You are. Long as you are in the bloodline of Adam and Eve, you are a generational curse before that choice.
And you can be a generational curse breaker.
And
And
exactly,
it's a choice.
that's the
Like you
problem.
said.
Yes, that's the problem. Follow God. That's the point. I made this analysis earlier. We stopped getting away. We stopped going to the source of the soil and start looking at where the soil's at on the earth. We want to look at people to be our soil. I look at you and say, Zane, you doing something in my life that making me not, your influence on me is making me not want to do drugs or alcohol when that runs in my life. And you go do drugs and alcohol, I'm gonna lose that influence in you because you was you was the inspiration for me not to do it. But you're a human being, and you're part of the same you're part of the same generational curse I'm a part of. But if I go to the head fertilizer and say, hey, listen, I know the mistake that was made back then, but I'm looking at you, God, and I'm saying, God, listen to me. I want to be broken from this because I want a fair shake of opportunity to make my decision. Give me that opportunity and tell me, and you do what God wants you to do. You be committed and tell me what's different. We all, I mean, it's unfortunate we're gonna die, but at the end of the day, it's not, because we're going to be with the Father. But regardless of that, God gives you a purpose now. That's what God traded from the garden. He took the Garden of Eden and flipped it to a purpose now. So now we don't have a Garden of Eden. We have a purpose. That's the Garden of Eden, the purpose. That's what we're supposed to be taking care of. That's what we're supposed to be fertilizing. Come on, bro. Quit playing with me, bro. Come on, bro. It's so easy to dissect it if you read it and see it.
Now, I wouldn't. I would say it's obvious. I don't know how to say it, because I want to say it's easily accessible, and and if you take time out, you can like really break it down. But I would say for me to really just process all that, it takes just hearing multiple perspectives,
Yes, multiple
and
perspectives.
then like just reading it myself, literally. But with those perspectives, you can't alter the truth. The truth is the
Absolutely.
truth.
That's the word
But
is straight.
you just hear the different perspectives from the
The
truth.
word is straight. That's what the Bible is. Perspectives. The Bible is the
The Bible is
perspective. It's perspectives
perspectives.
of the truth.
I literally said from John, Mark, Matthew,
That's
Luke. It's James.
perspectives of the truth. This whole life is perspectives of things that happen. That's what the Bible is. God, and I bet you God intended the Bible to be a bunch of perspectives. So every situation in your life, you get a different perspective of how to handle it. So when you say, okay, well, I might say that, and somebody might say it's not true, and somebody might prove me wrong, but that's my perspective. And some of the stuff, the crazy thing about it is the disciples, the things, they all didn't agree on the things that was going on, but their perspectives made sense to people problems now because it's all perspectives. But the thing about it is, every perspective has the same answer. God.
Mic drop.
Am I lying? Every perspective has the same answer. Go to God. That's just
So if you don't know how to lead as a man,
go to God. Read the Bible, scripture. Get perspective on to read as a man. I
if
mean, learn.
if you're feeling like toxic traits or traits that you think could be toxic,
Read the Bible. Go to God. Is it ironic?
if your helper is making it difficult, or it seems as if it's difficult for you to help her.
Go to God, the source. The crazy thing about it is, when you look at the Bible and you look at the perspectives of things, it all came to the same answer from the answer. Well, the answer is all the same from every perspective if you look at it, because every situation it's the same. It's the same result in a way if you look at it, because when you look at, let's say, I go to the same source that we go to as God. We look for the same answer. God answers the same question with different topics. He answers the same question in different ways. He really does. It's incredible,
So there's no one way fit all to take care of
and that's the
your
law.
garden.
That's the crazy. That's the law of what God really. That's the law. People look at situations and put them in their own different categories. It's not. Everything is in the same category. God give us one answer, and one answer only. Follow Him, believe in Him, trust in Him, and watch it work out. We are not intended, and don't take this as you're not going to go through any battles. Being, just like I said, this is the Christian part. Being a Christian and being a believer of God, like I said earlier, is the hardest thing to do because it comes with so much agony. It comes with so much pain. The world hates us. They mock us. I don't see any other religion, just not trying to get into that controversial conversation. I don't see any other religion getting mocked as much as Christianity. Just being honest.
That's real.
And that's real talk. So musician mocking us, movies mocking us. Shoot, churches is mocking religion. And just being real. So as Christianity, people, we have to step up and say, the truth isn't what we make the truth is. The truth is what God made the truth is. You can't justify what you say the truth is based off your religion or how you perceive what God is. I perceive what God is as the truth. And as long as He gives me truth, I can say I can really give you the definition of what God is. Because God is truth. God is love. God is passion. God is all of that. And guess what? I just defined what God is. I gave you all the definition of what the problems are because we feel like we don't have no love. We feel like we don't have no passion. We feel like we don't have all that. But guess what? God is passion. God is love. God is everything. So when you want to answer a question to a problem, call God. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. It's simple. It's easy way to break it down. It's the most simplest way to break it down. Simplest way to break it down. You got a problem with poverty. You got a problem with depression. God is all of those things combined. That's why He's everything. He's not limited to just one problem. I don't. That's why when I pray, I don't just pray on one problem. I pray on everything because God is everything. And I expect God to be everything. And I expect God to handle everything because He is everything. So as long as I say, God, I need your help with everything I'm going through, and I need you to be there for me, just like you've always been, I can count on you because you never turn me down, no matter what situation. And I might have not won that battle then, and I might not look like I won it, but I did because I got you. You stay with me. So I'm good, no matter what. And that's the same answer and the same prayer. That's how God works. You want to break toxic masculinity. You want to break generational curses. You want to break the cycle of Adam and Eve. You want to break all this stuff that's going on in the world. There's only one name, one prayer that Jesus gave us the opportunity to call on for help. Because back then it was just God selected people to lead us. God gave us a direct source by prayer to say his name, to say, God, help me. I'm done. That's it. God help me. And guess what? And it might not look like he helping you and through your situations, through my situations. I might lose some battles and you might think I'm losing, but I'm actually winning. That's why I don't get discouraged when things not going my way, because I know it is. By it's not going my way, it is going my way because it will. And God's way is going my way because he's showing me I'm not everything. Everything don't run through me. I need to see some things. I need to see failure to succeed. I need to see the things that don't go right to succeed so I can know how to succeed. I gotta maintain this garden. So I gotta learn how when the crop go down, I gotta learn how to rebuild. I gotta learn when the harvest come, when the depression come and there ain't no rain coming. I gotta know how to maintenance that garden based off the scars of battle I've been through. I gotta learn from it and take it and use that soil to harvest and enjoy the harvest and not to lose the harvest. And when God say lose the harvest, it's only a bigger harvest intended. That's my summary to what I had to say.
That's it, bro. That's it. I I think that's where we gotta end it off, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm glad. Hey,
Like, literally, like this was a great conversation. I think
absolutely,
we went through, literally broke down what toxic masculinity was in perspective, well, what it means to be a man.
absolutely,
Shoot, so much stuff. How to take care of your garden as a man and like
absolutely,
sort of not be toxic. Then how to heal from toxicity and how to really maintain,
absolutely,
which is God, like
absolutely.
you said.
God,
So I mean,
maintaining.
God was the answer through it all, but
Yes,
like to
yes,
really like,
to dissect the problem and see
yeah.
it's the same answer. That's the perfect thing. But I just want to say before we end, Zane, brother, I'm happy for you. I was gonna do it anyway, but I'm happy for whatever you're doing. God's calling you to do something big. Like I said, we'd had conversations over it. Um, as a friend, growing up, watching you do what you've been doing. Um, yeah, I know it's hard to take the high road sometimes in some situations. It's hard to take the high road and say, God, listen, I'm gonna do your will. But you've been doing that, and I'm very happy for you. And I look forward to working with you because I've had to take the high road. And when God sees two people, just like in the Bible, when two people come together,
He's in the midst.
He's not. His presence is there. So when me and you come together as people who took that high road, we could have been anything. We could have been dead in jail right now. We could have been doing anything. God gave us a calling, and we're using it to bring people out of pain. How to bring people out of situations we've been in. We showing them, hey, listen, we was there where you was at. I was depressed. You was depressed. I've been through heartache. I've been through financial struggles. I felt like nobody loved me. I felt like nobody was there for me. But it was one name I called on. And he was there for me through everything. And that same name that you can call on. And I'm very happy to sit here across from you and call that name together. And I look forward to doing it again. Simple, bro.
I appreciate you,
No
bro.
problem, bro. No problem.
I
Positivity.
appreciate you, man. We
Positivity, brother.
literally been out here for like over 5 hours. You don't
Absolutely.
even know. Look, the sprinklers done
The
came on, bro.
sprinkler.
We came
If
here.
you can see it,
We we came here before the sun. We
the
even I
sun,
don't even know the sun.
the
The sun. Look, the sun was right behind us when we came here. Now the sun is right above
it had
us.
been a full
It done-
rotation of the sun. The sprinkler literally came on. The grass has literally got greener while we've been here. We done seen all types of kids cycles come out and play all types of stuff. I done seen all this. I don't. It's gonna rain, snow, something soon.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, bro, man. I literally like with those 5 hours spent, bro. Like you said, bro, it just felt so natural.
mhm,
Like, and I can't thank you enough, bro. I'm excited for where God is taking you.
absolutely,
I'm excited for where God is taking us, bro, in this journey, bro. Like, it it's gonna be impactful.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's literally all I gotta say, bro. It's gonna be impactful. Like
Well,
like like these 5 hours that we spent out here, bro. It was well worth it, my friend.
absolutely. Nice to do it. We're gonna do it soon.
Yeah. So
Alrighty,
appreciate. Well, that's it for y'all.
that's
Catch y'all.
it. Thank you.